Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today we are continuing on the characterization writing tips, and we are discussing my 9 top tips on how to write a character with depression. If you haven't seen, I have already done a video on writing characters with anxiety. That link is above me now. I will also put a link to my playlist on character aids, because I have done tips on writing heroes, villains, grey characters, good characters, evil characters. It's all in there. So if you are looking for help on writing characters, do go and watch those videos. Playlist is above me now. But today we are going to discuss writing characters with depression. And like my anxiety video, of course, why do 10 tips when you can do 9? I don't know. Before we get into those, don't forget, if you like what you see, to subscribe to this channel. Your continued support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. Tip number 1, talk to people with depression. This should be one of the most obvious writing tips I can ever give, and one that I give in almost every writing tips video. If you're writing a character going through a specific thing or a specific type of person, and you are not that person, then ask people around you who are. There is no better knowledge than getting first-hand knowledge. So ask someone if they're happy to talk about it. Of course, please ask, be open, do not be critical and do not judge. But ask them if they're willing to discuss their depression with you. Ask them about it. Ask them how they cope. How does it feel? All the things you can think of. Whatever they are happy to share with you, take it. Ask them if you can use any of it if you wish to. You might even want to get them to be a beta reader or a critique person on your book to make sure they're comfortable with the information that you've used, but ask their opinions. Number 2, depression is not always due to trauma. There is a stereotype that when you become depressed, it is because something bad has happened to you. But that's not always the case. You can be born with depression. Your body cannot make the hormones it needs in order to have, as Matt would call them, dolphins or endorphins in your brain. He calls them dolphins because he loves dolphins. They're happy juice. Your brain might not make this happy juice naturally. So naturally, you can be born with depression. You can just be born with a brain that cannot naturally do that. It doesn't have to be because of trauma. This is something you might find out when you talk to people as well. Sometimes you've had depression your whole life. Sometimes you get it later on in life. It can be caused by various things. It can naturally happen from changes in the body as well. It can happen from trauma. Find out. But it does not always have to be from trauma. Number 3, how does depression affect your character? Like anxiety, depression can manifest in so many ways. The stereotypical ones are, of course, being bedridden, where you just can't get out of bed in the morning. Or the one that's shown the most often is just being negative. Just because you have depression does not mean you're a negative person. Look at Robin Williams. Was he a depressive person when you saw him on TV? When there were interviews with them? No, he was a comedian. He lived his entire life making others laugh. He looked so happy. He suffered from severe depression. You would never have thought that when you look at him. And people can mask these feelings. Like people can mask when they're upset. People can mask when they have ADHD. People can mask when they're autistic. Bear that in mind. It's also, depression can sometimes be very visible. There are people who cannot hide it. There are people where it is invisible and they're not even trying to hide it. It's just invisible. It's all internal. It's how their brain thinks. It's how it reacts to things rather than how they outwardly appear. Another way that depression could affect your character could be able to get up. They could be able to shower. They could be able to do their washing. But they don't like things they used to like anymore. They've lost enjoyment in things. Or the opposite way around, they still enjoy things, but trying to get up in the morning is really difficult. Trying to shower is really hard. Brushing your teeth is really difficult. How has it affected your character? Number 4, does your character know they have depression? I mentioned this with anxiety. When you know you have something, you can act accordingly to make life easier whilst you're dealing with that situation. So if your character doesn't know they have depression, could they be thinking other reasons why they can't get out of bed in the morning? Are they like, oh my god, my job is so hard, I just can't get enough sleep. I'm oversleeping and that's what's making me tired. I'm not eating right, that's why I'm tired. I go to bed too early and therefore my body doesn't go to sleep and that's why I can't get to sleep and that's why I'm tired. Or have they realized I have depression, I'm tired because my brain is overworking and dealing with a lot of other things and trying to heal itself whilst I'm having a normal life, but that is causing hormonal imbalances in my brain, causing me to be tired. Do they know? It also means how do they react. If you don't know you have depression, you react differently. Maybe you react a lot more dramatic, or if you have it, then you're just like, oh, I feel sad, that's because of this. Cool, we're gonna be like that today. Let's continue on then and deal with that. You can deal with it differently if you know what it is. Could they journal? Could you show them journaling and that's how you know they have depression? How do they get themselves through the day? Do they have to go for walks? Do they have to do gratitude? Think of things like that. I do want to give a warning about number 5. Please skip to this time here. It can be hard for people to talk about, so please, if you're not feeling able to talk about physical things done to yourself with depression, please skip to this time here. Number 5, self-harm. Now, if you have depression, you do not always self-harm. So if your character has depression, do they have to do this? And the other thing to bear in mind is showing your character doing self-harm. Does that actually help the story? Because a problem with self-harm is that when it is shown as the thing to do when you feel this way, in some ways it can push people to do it or encourage people to do it because you've been shown that it releases this feeling, this overwhelming urge in this way. Now, if you don't see people do it, you can be less likely to do it, and that is a thing. So please bear in mind, do you need to show that in your work? Is it really going to improve or show this depression clearly? Or is it just you trying to show it for just no need? If it's not needed, don't show it. The other thing is that people can use being shown it as more creative ways to do it, or ways that can be hidden. You must give a warning in your book if it is going to be in there. I mean, same if you're going to go through each practice, but trigger warning of what that book is going to entail, so people can avoid that. It's a very hard subject. If you're watching this video and you are in a situation where you are considering this or are currently doing this, please use the links below. You are worthy, you are needed, you are beautiful, you are perfect. Don't ever feel you're not wanted, and don't ever feel like you need to do that. Number 6, show, don't tell. Now this kind of links into number 4 when I said about journaling and going for walks. Show your character has depression. Don't have your character say, I have depression. That's not needed. Don't have them write in their journal, I have depression and therefore. You don't write that in your journal. You can say, my brain is not having a good day. You can describe things differently. For example, say you have a very happy character and they see the sunlight. They're going to be like, oh, it's so sunny and warm today. I can see the flowers and the bees. Maybe your character is not feeling that happy and they're going to say, it's really sunny today, but I just want to sit in the dark for today. I can't deal with that today. I'm going to, close the curtains. Or they can think about how the sun can cause cancer instead of thinking about the nice parts about it. Show, don't tell. Show your character struggling. Do not have your character tell the audience what they have. Number 7, people can function with depression and so can your characters. Don't forget, there are so many people in this world suffering from depression every day. They can have full-time jobs. They can have very perfect, happy relationships. They can have a home. They can go on holidays. They can do everything someone without depression can do. Your character does not have to be debilitated with depression to have depression. Please remember this. They don't have to have a dysfunctional family. They do not have to have no friends. You can have depression and have a fully functional, happy friend group. You can just then sometimes be alone or even be with your friends and just feel utter dread. It happens. They don't have to be dysfunctional. Please bear that in mind. It's not good representation because then it also stops people believing when someone has depression and they have to tell someone this, they have to tell someone at work they have it because they need adjustments. If they come across as a happy person, that person might not make those adjustments because they're like, but you're fine. That's not healthy. Someone can look absolutely fine and not be okay. Number 8, not always alone. This kind of links to tip number 7, but there is a stereotype of people with depression are always lonely and they want to be alone and they have no friends. That is not true. People with depression can have fully functional, happy family relationships, romantic relationships, friendships. They can love to be with people. They don't have to be alone to be depressed. And finally, number 9, be original. Like I said, people react to depression in different ways. You don't always have to go down the obvious route. Be original, talk to a lot of people, get different types of scenarios, get different ways of dealing with it. Whatever information you can get with that person's permission to use that information. How is your character going to manifest with depression? But also think, why are you showing this in your work as well? But be original. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found these tips useful. As I've said in this video, if you think you're suffering from depression, or if you feel like you're suffering from depression, if you are suffering from depression and have been diagnosed, please know you are loved, you are needed, you are safe. I have put links below to places you can go to seek help. Please talk to someone. Do not feel alone. People are there for you, and people do love you, and they need you. For writers, be sensitive. If you are going to show depression in your work, please do get beta readers, critique partners, and talk to people with depression. Just make sure you're representing this correctly, because it's something that is misrepresented a lot and something very harmful if it is done the wrong ways. But I hope you guys found these tips useful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like what you see. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. I post my bookish pictures, assault and writing tips, and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.